The Amazing Digital Circus just released one of their best episodes so far. This episode is known as the beach episode. There's also another episode that's also widely known as one of the best episodes of its show, Avatar: The Last Airbenders, The Beach. The thing about most beach episodes is they're just filler that's not important in the slightest. These two episodes are quite possibly the only episodes that don't do these. So I thought it would be fun to review these episodes and decide which one's the better one once and for all. The Amazing Digital Circuses, Episode 7, Season 1, well, there's only one season, Beach episode, or Avatar: The Last Airbenders, Season 3, Episode, I have no idea, The Beach.
Kano, I could go on. Aren't you supposed to be miserable about your ability to choose your own body or something?
Alright, so the beach episode in the Digital Circus follows the characters as they go to the beach in a normal adventure until Pomni spots a strange mannequin and meets them. This mannequin turns out to be Abel. Jax, on the other hand, is about to abstract while being tempted by Ribbit or some form of Ribbit to abstract. And the gang meets up and Jax stops from abstracting and they try the entire episode to escape while Jax slowly breaks down. This all culminates in the final scene where Jax kind of goes crazy and says, "Nope, I want to stay in the Digital Circus," revealing that Kane actually tricked the entire gang and Abel is not Abel, and he explained this entire backstory with CNA employees and stasis bots, and it was all fake. So the gang were very mad at Kane, and that's basically how the episode ended. Avatar: The Last Airbenders episode goes through the gang, well, not the gang, Zuko, Azula, Tylee, and May, going to the beach, hanging out, going to the party, arguing to each other, beating some people in volleyball, and then they had this campfire scene where all their emotions were riled up, and they just finally said what they thought, and it's quite possibly the only time in the entire series that we got any insight into the lives of especially Tylee and May, and it's considered one of the best scenes in the show. And meanwhile, in only a tiny bit of the episode, the main gang, Aang, Toph, Katara, and Sokka, are being attacked by Zuko's assassin for the first time. Avatar: The Last Airbender's use of characters in this episode is easily one of the best ways they've used their characters in all of their episodes. Zuko is a lot simpler of a version of himself, but we still get to find out a lot about him. And it's the first time he kind of admits that maybe he was wrong for betraying the gang at the end of Season 2. We get to see a human emotion out of Azula, which is for the first time ever in the series. Tylee and May are so much more interested in this one, and we finally get to see Tylee get mad at the gang, which is really nice. And I think Avatar: The Last Airbender gets 4 points for this one. Amazing Digital Circus does also a brilliant job at doing this. Pomni is interesting, and so is Zubul and Gangu, but Jax really takes the spotlight for this one, as well as Kane. As you can see in the sequence right now, this abstraction scene is one of the best in the series, with the best scene being the final scene in the series, which I'll get to later. But overall, I think it focuses more on the story and gives us clues about the characters, which not a lot of the episodes do. And I really respect this one for doing it, because now we know so much about this episode without it being, too fast-paced and emotionless. We still had important character moments. So with that, I'll be giving this 2 points. So for Amazing Digital Circus's story and importance, I don't think any other episode, apart from maybe the pilot, is as important to the story as this one. We don't learn much about the characters apart from Jax and Kinga, and we are so confused, and we can definitely tell some part of what Abel was saying is true. And the way they present this story is so well done in this episode, but I have to give 4 points to this. I mean, Look at the scene in which they find out it was fake. Look at the abstraction scene, which we just saw a small clip of. Even look at the fish scene, which basically foreshadows the entire rest of the plot. It's brilliant. Avatar The Last Airbenders doesn't have any story importance apart from the assassin guy that Zuko hired and learning about the characters. However, this helps us understand the characters more, especially Azula, helping with later plot points a lot, so I will give this 2 points.
What was that for?
Let's be real, everyone knew Avatar was going to win Section 2 and Digital Circus was going to win Section 3, so I figured the best way to work this out was to compare both shows' final moments and finally decide which one wins. Avatar The Last Airbender's best scene in this episode is obviously the campfire scene, and I think it tells us so much about the characters and it's really brilliant, but I will have to reduce 1 point because of how fast it goes, how everyone's emotions change really quick, especially Zuko's comments. I don't think they're really in character for him, but literally everything else about the scene is perfect. It's only because I'm comparing it to Digital Circus that I'm removing a point. Usually I would give it 3 points, but, something has to win in this episode. So, that it's a 9.2 out of 10 for me. Such a great scene. Then comparing it to The Amazing Digital Circus, literally does everything perfect. Maybe doesn't give enough anger to the other characters. Jax gets his moment, but that's it. But I'm still going to give it all 3 points because, once again, this is the better scene and something has to win. So that's a 9.6 for Digital Circus, 9.2 for Avatar The Last Airbender. And with that, The Amazing Digital Circus wins with 9 points, with Avatar The Last Airbender losing with 8 points. While Avatar The Last Airbender is the better show, out of these 2 episodes, I think Beach episode is better than The Beach. But still, I would recommend both of these episodes. They're amazing. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and bye.